So how did you learn about the birds and the bees? How about a porn star teaching your kid about sex? Got your attention, huh? It's time to find out what you blog in. This is when we talk with our bloggers, real voices from the parenting world who have stories you won't hear anywhere else, as you could tell by that, that tease. Here at Atlanta blogger Julie Cole, co-founder of Mabel's Labels and mom of 6. Now I know why you have labels. It's to keep track of those kids.
Got it.
Always here with me, too, from Makes Me Wanna Holla.com. Pretty good, huh, Eric Payne?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, I'll work on it. And then in Boston, from the Good Man Project, Tom Matlock. All right, Tom, we are starting with you. And why are you looking so serious, Tom? I need you to smile. Seriously, dude, we're going to talk about porn. Thank you. All right.
Oh, great.
Yes. On your blog, you got to get a tight shot of Tom. He's smiling, okay? You actually reposted this story, the 10 things I wish someone had told me about porn. Okay, Daddy of the Year. Why did you put this on your blog?
Well, I've spent a lot of time talking at boys' schools, and I would say we have an epidemic of pornography in this country. If you don't, if you don't realize, if you don't think your kid's watching, your teenage boy is watching porn, you're in total denial. And I really think that shame, telling our boys that watching porn is going to rot their soul, is really not going to get us very far. It's one of these things where the carrot is much more effective than the stick. And that porn, talking to our boys about the fact that porn really misses the point of intimacy and love and, what sex is supposed to be all about is what's most important. And
you want your son to love differently. Yeah.
Say it again?
You want your son to love differently, not like what you see in porn. You want it to be about, Eric,
well,
help me out here. I'm going to go to Eric because Eric told me he has trouble talking to his kids about sex. So
No, I did. I have a 17-year-old now, but at the time he was 10, and I think that's when this whole information explosion began to erupt, and it was a disaster. My parents never had the conversation with me. My father never said a word to me. My mother, I guess if I can say that, she said, don't let anybody get in your pants. That was the talk. Wow. That was the talk.
That's pretty much what I got too. Keep your legs crossed. Thanks. That was helpful, Dad.
Right. So when it was my turn, I was horrified. I didn't know what to do, but it was happening as I had no choice because he had access to the internet, and we were walking in on him on those sites. And so we were playing catch-up. Well, I was playing catch-up.
It's funny. I've had a completely different experience raising my kids. I have absolutely no problem talking to them about sex or anything. They have not asked a question that's made me uncomfortable. And in fact, I've kind of raised them knowing about sex. I kind of think of them like farm kids. They just have always known. They've never, I've never sat them down and given them what the birds and the bees are at an age where they look at you and think, you?
Julie broke a world record at 8 months. She was talking to her child about sex.
Exactly.
It was riveting. You should have seen how the baby responded. Something that got Julie fired up, I've got to get on this story too, and that is this dad that says he's going to pay his daughter $200 to stay off Facebook. Yeah. Julie, you think that's a horrible idea?
I think it's riddled with problems.
Why?
A couple of things. First of all, if you don't think your child's ready to be on social media, you don't pay them to stay off. You tell them you're the parent and have discussions with them and maybe implement some tools to get them prepared. But I certainly wouldn't pay my child not to do something.
Tom, what do you think?
Well, I think, as with porn, we need to have, real relationships. And, paying your kid not to be on Facebook is kind of ridiculous. I think that, we need to emphasize with our children that, in the flesh, relationships are far more important than sitting in front of a computer screen.
And the fact that he...
by the way, my daughter who's in college tells me that Facebook is completely passé, so... but social media in general.
Weigh in, Eric.
Well, I didn't really flush it out that deep for me. Back in the day, actually, I was in college. My father gave me $100 to stop wearing an earring, and it worked for a little while. I think the next year I got it, filled in again. But
you took the $100 and you got 3 piercings.
Right. I took the $100, I ran, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to use this $100 to buy a better earring. That's what I did. So I guess if you want to flush it out as far as Facebook goes, but between a parent and their child, it's not that big a deal for me.